Esport is the fundamental piece of any multiplayer video game. Every year, hundreds of events take place all across the globe, featuring the best players in their respected categories. Millions of fans spectate live, while others tune in online. Since so many events happen each year, some odd, unique, and sometimes upright crazy things are ought to happen. However, on the evening of June 19th, 2016, Team Fortress 2 wrote itself in the history book for having the most mind-blowing conclusion to an esports final in history.
It is indeed time to go.
TF2 never had an esports scene you can call massive, but it always had the most dedicated players that would spend thousands of hours getting better at the game, not for cash, but because they loved the competition and game itself, since there was basically no prize money involved. Those that understand the way TF2 works could always find joy in spectating these high-level matches between two teams, because the game offers a very steep skill ceiling and is drastically different from most modern FPS titles. Not many first-person shooters have so many unique characters to choose from, which also bring a ton of weapons and mechanics, such as rocket or sticky jumping, strafing, air-shotting, and enemy uber counting. A lot of these things can be overshadowed during the heat of the battle, but if we could pause the game at any point of the match, we could instantly recognize just how much is going on. While it's no Dota 2 or StarCraft, TF2 certainly has one of the most complex first-person shooter skill ceilings out there, blending raw mechanical execution, deep movement tech, and layering it with coordinated team strategy. It's a game that looks chaotic on the surface, but reveals incredible depth once you slow it down. Dreamhack is a Swedish digital festival brand best known for hosting some of the world's largest LAN parties and gaming events. These events happen to include esport tournaments, which made Dreamhack a big part of TF2's esport scene since 2015. After two rather successful integrations of TF2 as a little side dish for the festival, the TF2 community happened to get yet another opportunity to host another live tournament for the masses. Two teams were invited to participate, those being Crown's Esports Club and Comfortably Spanked, while two other teams had to qualify, Nameless and Perillia's Gaming. The total prize pool for this event was $3,000, which would be split amongst all four teams depending on their placements. While this amount of money sounds like a joke when comparing it to pretty much any esports event, for TF2, this was a big deal. In any case, this is just another reminder that emphasizes the fact that these players love the game above all else. All matches in the tournament were played in the best of 3 setting, with the exception of the grand finals being the best of 5. According to Josh Wilkinson, better known as Sideshow, who was not only one of the commentators and analysts, but also organizers and players in the event, the production of the show has improved.
Okay, Dreamhack Summer though, we've learnt from some of the mistakes. We're in a bigger area, production is better, we've got a handheld camera that captures player reactions really well.
Nonetheless, being mostly amateurs in the world of event organizing, some mistakes were bound to happen.
But I was administrating the tournament, as well as had formerly been on one of the teams, so there's possibility of conflict of interest there anyway, but because the scene's so small, what the fuck are you gonna do? Someone has to admin. And I was also casting, so I was having to make everything work and prep the run of show and produce the show, but also cast and also try and admin. And
it all started with stupid headphones just before the semi-finals.
One of the biggest issues was we had a sponsorship from Plantronics.
The event was generously sponsored by Plantronics, and while some money was exchanged, the players were also provided headsets they had to use during the matches. The problem was that only 12 headsets were distributed, as the matches were being played in the 6v6 format. However, one of the teams had a coach, which was so extremely unheard of in TF2 that nobody bothered to reserve another headset for such occasion.
I knew we were only being given 12 headsets from Plantronics, so I said, no coaches allowed, there's only 12 headsets.
Because of this headphone incident, teams have started to argue, which caused a delay of about half an hour to an hour.
We had like a half hour to an hour delay, where the teams were arguing with each other.
This delay might not sound like a lot, but because the tournament was happening in the exhibition area and was not part of the main Dreamhack event, there were strict legal rules which stated that they have to be out of the area before 11 p.m. After a while, it is decided the coach is not allowed to talk to the players throughout the game, but can interfere in between the rounds. Regardless, one of the unforeseen circumstances, as the team that was partially denied the coach wins and proceeds to the finals. Ironically, the two teams that made it to the finals were the ones that had to qualify, rather than get invited, meaning that it was Perillia's Gaming versus Nameless, fighting to be crowned the champions of Dreamhack Summer 2016. Since the tournament was already delayed, the tension between the cast was growing. Everybody knew that the finals must be concluded by one of the teams dominating the other one in order for them to properly actually end the event in time. However,
one map goes one way, one map goes the other way. It's looking like a close game. One map goes one way, one map goes the other way. It's 2-2. Exactly. So Cadis is like calling the 5th map here. And so the producer's talking in my ear right now. If the 5th map happens, we're screwed. So I'm just panicking. I'm pure panicking right now.
Now they've lost so many players. I don't think they're going to hold this. I think the round is actually going to go to Perilous in the final clutches of the last second.
because the match was now tied 2-2 and the clock arrow was almost striking 11 PM, there was only one outcome. The tournament is huge, the venue in which it is being played is in a serious place, and the laws are strict.
Pure panic. So the producer cuts our mics, and he's talking to us now like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Look at the players here. Look at the look of confusion on these players' faces.
Unfortunately, it was time to go.
We have a very interesting situation. We've never had a situation like this, ever. In fact, I don't think anyone's ever had a situation like this ever. It's very interesting.
Hey, mate, you gotta go. It's time to go.
It's time to go. It is indeed time to go.
It was ridiculous. Nobody could believe it. People in the Twitch chat were going crazy, while people at the venue were straight up laughing. The players had faces filled with confusion, and no one was happy, because the most anticipated European TF2 tournament of the year was not gonna have a conclusion. But there was nothing that could be done at that time. Fortunately, after a while, the teams were provided the opportunity to decide how they want to settle their battle. Mind you, the finals leading up to this point were very close. Each map was an extremely tight and epic fight, pulling in thousands of viewers from across the world. Regardless of how much everyone wanted to see the teams play it out, the teams have decided to not play the final match of the tournament and instead split the symbolical prize money between the players, which was around $130 per person. They probably had to pay more for their travel and other expenses anyways. Sadly, the thrilling final has concluded in the worst possible way. Nonetheless, it brought yet another epic story from the TF2 community, and to this day is one of the weirdest things to ever happen at a LAN tournament. While such failure may become a dark spot in many organizers' lives, Sideshow is not one of them. The same way as before the tournament, Sideshow has stayed one of the greatest and most beloved TF2 community members to date. After the conclusion of this tournament, he had his debut in Overwatch, bringing his excellent casting to the emerging Overwatch scene. In 2018, when the Overwatch League was officially launched, he was brought in as the analyst responsible for a variety of production-related questions as well as strategic insights and writing. In 2019, he was honored as the UK Caster of the Year and now can be seen casting Valorant events too, alongside his longtime friend Bren, which he took along the ride.
Hey guys.